Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our CarTech how-to video on the 2022 Volkswagen Taos. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Mankato Volkswagen in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota.
Now, on the driver's information screen, we have this beautiful VW Cockpit. It's roughly a foot diagonal, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But it is really nice. You do have an analog, well, half analog, half digital engine temperature gauge on the far left, and then the same type of gauge for the fuel on the right. Now, in the middle of the screen, it's fully digital. And to control the information in that screen, you have these two buttons here, left and right arrows. You have the up and down arrows, you have the OK button, and then you have a view button. All right, so let's just start by taking a look at the view button, because no matter which screen you're going to be in, the view can be switched to three different views. So for instance, we have this view where we got the safety systems on here. So this would be your dynamic cruise control and that kind of stuff. If I press the view button, you can see it changes and actually gives you gauges. And then if I click it again, now it takes all that away. It puts the main important stuff down at the very bottom. And it's just a much cleaner and calmer screen. If I click it again, then we're going to go back to what we had. So that view button can change in any of the screens that we're going to look at. All right. So let's use this left button here first. And you can see at the top all these little icons that I'm going by. Okay, so these are all your basic things that you can go into. So I'm just going to go back here and I'm going to start with audio. Now, it says there's no playlist available, and that's fine. But if I use the up and down arrows, now I can look at my media, internet radio, AM, FM, and on any one of these, if I want them, I just click OK. And I get my presets right in here. So I can go ahead and just take a look at them, and if I find one I want, I can just click on there and then it will play. So you can do that. Another way to do presets, no matter what mode you're in the screen, is to use these buttons down here. As you can see, it goes through the presets. So it gives you the same list that this did. All right, so if I want to go back to sources, I just go up here and click OK, and now I'm back to my sources. Okay. All right, I'm not even gonna hit close. I'm just gonna hit the right arrow, and I'm gonna go back to media, and then I'm gonna go to telephone. Now, I don't have a phone connected, but if I did, then this would show you, your phone calls, your text messages, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go one more to the right. That just shows you the vehicle status. No other options. You can't use none of these buttons here, up, down, or OK will do anything. If I go one more right, here's driving data. So now if I use my up and down arrows, I can look at range. I can go to overview and click OK. I can go up one more to economy, click OK. Okay, I can go one more. So you notice the up button, the up arrow brings you back to the previous screen. You can look at trip, okay, oil temperature, road signs, speed, energy consumers, range, and then overview again. All right, I'm gonna go one more to my right. Okay, that brings me back to the screen I was just on. I'm gonna go one more. Assist systems. I'm gonna press the up down. Now here I've got lane assist, and I can click OK to turn that on or off. If I go down here, this is under cruise control. I can have adaptive cruise control, or I can click here and just have normal cruise control. Now, the adaptive cruise control in this particular car is fully adaptive stop and go with traffic. So that turns on the adaptive cruise. Now I go down here. Again, you can toggle on or off the blind spot monitor. You could do that with rear cross traffic, the front assist, and then of course you can go back if you don't want. Otherwise, you just hit the up button. On the turn signal indicator, you have a button at the end of the stock that if you click, brings you right to that window immediately. Okay, we're going to go one more over to our right. Navigation. Okay, now this is one of the fun ones to use the view button on. Okay, so you notice I've got media up on the top right. I've got how many hours it's been running, how many miles since start. Of course, this car has not been driven very much, but if I press the view button, this is what's really cool. Okay, now I get the digital gauges, which look awesome, and put the navigation, but if I push it again, I get a full screen navigation with my basics on the bottom there. So I've got my miles per hour, got my cruise control, my adaptive cruise control settings down there next to the seatbelt sign. I mean, that is just way awesome. All right, I'm gonna go back to the view that we had. I'm gonna click one more to the right. Okay, and then we're back to audio where we started. I'll mention a couple of things. The front assist, if it senses an accident and you're not braking it, it's going to autonomously brake. It may not avoid the accident, but it'll help lessen the impact. Also, when you're backing up, it has the same system. So if it senses something in the back, it will automatically brake if you don't. And I just think that's so neat. And then again, with a blind spot warning, typically with lane assist, when you turn, let's say, your left signal on and you're going to change lanes, it cancels the steering part of lane assist, so it lets you steer across lanes. Well, this one works in combination with the blind spot system, and if it senses there's a car, it'll actually steer you back into your lane to help avoid an accident. All of which I think are just really neat little improvements on those safety systems in this particular car. All right, next we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, the infotainment screen itself is an 8-inch touchscreen. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both of which are wired connections. It does have Bluetooth, AM and FM radio, Sirius XM with 360L with a subscription that lasts for a short while, and then you would have to renew that. And it does have a 4G Wi-Fi LTE hotspot. It does have, of course, a backup camera, navigation, and then you can use the phone app with it. And with that, you can actually connect that app to Alexa to do things like remote start your car, unlock and lock the doors, check on fuel range, that kind of stuff. All right. On the screen itself, where you see all these buttons, these words, okay, that's where the screen ends. So the screen itself is here, but it's a really nice sized screen. See the two dots? It means there's one more screen to the right, okay? And these just work like apps on your phone. So you click on them and it takes you to that app, and then in that app you can do different things. You do have two physical buttons. You got a power on and off right here, and then a volume. And then over here you have got a tune and scroll. Okay, so if I'm in radio, this will actually help you. You can change stations with it. Okay, now you'll notice that little hand shows up. Okay, when I'm here, I can wave and you can see that it'll change it. So you got some hand gestures that you can use, which I think is kind of neat. All right, so the physical buttons you have on the screen right here, I mean, they're touch, but they're buttons. So you have radio. They separate that out from media, so radio will be AM, FM, and Sirius XM. Media is everything else. You have phone, which I don't have hooked up right now. And then you have voice command. Voice command will run your media. It will run your phone. It won't do things like climate, and it will also do navigation. Up here you've got nav. Yeah, you do have an app button. Right now it only has an app for an Android, so not going to hook anything up to that. But you can have some select apps that go in there. Under car, here's where you have some settings for your car, and we'll go through those more. And then of course you have the menu, which operates like a home button. Brings you back to this screen that we started on. Okay, those are the physical buttons. Let's start with how to find and navigate yourself around the radio and the media. So let's just go into radio. Let's select a different station other than a different mode other than AM. So I click on source, and all your sources pop up. I'm going to select FM. All right. So first thing is, well, you can tune the scroll. You see that dial moving, and it goes digit by digit. Okay. These things pop up. I don't like it how the volume keeps coming up all the time. But anyways, when I get to a preset, it highlights it, says that one's already done as a preset. But let's say I want to make a preset, so I know how to scroll manually. I just find the station I want, click anywhere on these save, and there it is, 101.7. Don't know what station that is, but I just saved it as a favorite. And that's how you do it. And the other thing I want to show you is when I pull my hand away, you see the screen kind of down here goes dark. If I bring it, it notices my hand, so it brings up all these little things. So if I want to go to a station list, I can do that and just click on one, hit the back button here. I can look at just the presets. And all these little dots here indicate all the screens that you have of presets. So there are currently 36 presets sitting out there. I can look at the station if it has RDS or text. There's another way to go to tune, okay, but you can just start turning that knob and that works as well. And if you need to go a little bit further, or if you need to do it manually, you can click these little arrows. Okay. If I go to settings, now it's going to bring up sound. So now here I can address my treble, mid, bass, and subwoofer. And again, you can just click and drag, or you can use the plus and minus. That's the equalizer. You can change the position right here. And then, of course, you can look at different kinds of volume settings, which I think is nice. So voice operation volume, you can adjust right here, and you simply do that by clicking on it.
Voice operation volume. Voice operation volume.
Okay, startup volume.
Voice operation volume.
Remember I said I was a little irritated because the volume kept coming on? Well, apparently that's where you change it. So there we go. And the minimum apparently is 3. Speed dependent volume, so the faster you go, the louder the music gets. The slower you go, the softer the music gets. It tries to balance it out for you. All right. When you're parking, you'd want the audio to lower by how much. You can adjust that there. If I had the Bluetooth hooked up, you could adjust that right there. And then voice guidance, like your navigation. So that's where all that is. Let's press the X. And then I'm going to go back here. If I click on settings, okay, now I can go to the touchscreen tone, which I don't want it to have, a menu button tone, and audible hand gesture feedback. It does kind of a swoosh, okay? So you can have that on or off there. Now, I'm going to go back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on menu. I'm going to click on radio again. And I'm back here. Okay, so that's how you save a favorite. That's how you tune to find something. And that's how you change the sound settings. And it's the same for FM, AM, and Sirius XM. They all work the same way. Okay, now if I go to Bluetooth audio, which I don't have hooked up, but we're gonna go to my phone and we're gonna connect it via Bluetooth. So if I go to my settings and I go to Bluetooth and I'm gonna look for VW5644, which is right there, so I click on it. I'm gonna hit pair, yes. It says, do I want my contacts and favorites to sync? I'm gonna say don't allow, but if it's your car, you wanna allow that. That's how you get all your contacts. Okay? Here you got a choice, whether you wanna run on Bluetooth or Apple CarPlay. If you choose Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay won't work. If you use Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth doesn't work. So we're gonna just choose Apple CarPlay. Okay, and in a minute here, it should connect, I think, and there we go. So here I've got my phone, so I got favorites, recents, contacts, keypad, voicemail. I can go here to Pandora. Okay, it'll take a minute to load here because it's working off my cell signal. But basically you can run a ton of apps right from your phone on your screen. And it will, these are shortcuts here, but it will do quite a few different navigation apps. Now if I click this button down here, I kind of get a split view. So I've got this navigation, I can click this to go home, I've got media, and then I have got a calendar. If I click this again, now I can see all the different apps. Okay, and you can see that Waze is on there. We have got Google Maps on there, and we've got Apple Maps. So lots of different things will work. But that is just so cool. I just really like Apple CarPlay. All right. Now, if I go over to telephone at this point, I'm going to see my phone right here. I'm going to see Apple CarPlay, but I can connect via Bluetooth. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say Apple CarPlay, and again, I would just use it my phone, and I could like drop a keypad, call people, do the stuff right from there. If I had Bluetooth, then a different screen would show up, but it would have all the same basic functions. Okay, I'm going to go back to menu. Now media. Media would be like Bluetooth, so that's where this would show up. Mine is connected via Apple CarPlay, so that's where my music is. But if you hook through Bluetooth, this is where it would show up, and you can see you have all these things. And again, you can go to source, you can go to settings, and you can go to sound right here and adjust all that kind of stuff. So it works the same way. All right, navigation. I can pinch. Okay. I can rotate. I can go here, suggestions if they're available. I can get just my GPS coordinates right there. Okay. I don't have any entries for destinations, and then that's just back to the search. Hit this, it hides the whole bar. This over here is your trip indicator, so it starts at the bottom. The closer you get to your destination, I think the closer it gets to the top. If I go over here, I've got a couple of things. Okay, if I click on here, I can change the map orientation. What I don't like is that button kind of disappears, and then you got to go up here to change it again. Okay, now if I go down here, again, that's just a search. And if I go down here, I can change the display to be auto, so it'll be brighter during the day and a little darker at night. Or I can switch manually to day, manually to night. I can display map and instrument cluster, which then it just pops in my instrument cluster and leaves here. Okay. Then if I go back here, I'm going to click that off for a minute. Go back here. And then I can change the
voice guidance volume.
I can change the voice guidance volume right from there for the navigation. Okay, and then if I click the gear wheels, now over here I can make some like one-time settings for the navigation. I can avoid traffic disruptions, on, ask, or off, and you just simply click to change it. Okay. And it's the same for all of these. And then you can check mark these road sign highways. Do you want to read them or not? Fuel warning, you want that or not? Then under road signs, you can say show on map. Do you want a speed limit alert on? And when do you want the alert? When you're 3 miles an hour over, 5 miles an hour, or right at the speed limit. Okay. All right, so that is basically the navigation. All right, so I'll go back to menu. The assist systems, now we've already been through this in the driver's information screen. This is a little bit more just sort of a graphic display of everything. But the way it works is you notice that like these things are highlighted. So if I click on the car, now that brings up adaptive cruise. Okay, and I want to say I want to be at a very close, medium, far, or very far away from the car in front of me. Okay. If I click on the sign, do I want display in the instrument cluster, the dynamic road display? Do I want a warning? Visual and acoustic, or off? And then when do I want the alert? Do I want it at 0 miles per hour, to 3, or 5? Also, if you click the information, then it gives you a little bit of information about what you're looking at. Okay, so again, all these things are in the driver's information screen, but this is just a visual graphic. If I click on settings, now it gives me just sort of a plain Jane, here's your checklist, here's all this stuff in just kind of a plain Jane format. And without all the cool graphics, but it's the same as what's on here. Okay, go back to menu. Over here, I can go straight to Apple CarPlay. I'm not going to do that. I can look at vehicle. Okay, now here, you can set the tire pressure, and when they've all been checked, then it will show up here. You can look at vehicle status. Of course, it's just telling us to drive safely. Everything must be okay. So those are the two screens you have. So if I go back to the tire pressure one and I go to selection, now I can say digital cockpit. Here's the deal with this. Let me go back to view 1. So I can use these, or I can just scroll. So that would mean on my digital cockpit in my driver's information screen, it's now going to show me travel time. Okay, if I click it up again, it's going to show me the assistance systems on the left. If I go up again, it's route guidance on the left, so that's where your navigation will show up. Road sign assist, range, so destination info, compass, elevation, audio, acceleration, and economy. And that's, I believe, where we started, right? And then you can go over here and say, well, I want the same thing over here with the range. So I'm going to change that to, it's your same choices, but you can decide on your digital cockpit where you want these things. What do you want on the right? What do you want on the left? All right, if I go to off-road, now I get some really cool information. For instance, what's the angle that my tire's turning at? Okay, so I can see that, which is just awesome. I can see my degrees as I'm driving, and then I can see my elevation. So that is just really cool. Now, not only that, but guess what? I can change. Now there's a new one. There's engine temperature, oil temperature, and I'm back here. But I mean, you can rearrange these, and they just make it so easy. So I absolutely love that. It's just way cool. Okay, if I click on settings, parking and maneuvering right here. So this is like your park distance control. How loud do you want the system to warn you? The rear pitch, okay. So, which is really interesting because depending on your hearing, there may be some of those pitches you don't hear well. Now you can adjust them to one that you do. So when you get close to something, you hear a sound. Okay? Do you want the audio to be lowered when you put it in reverse? You got the stereo playing, do you want it to automatically lower? You can do that. And you can tell how much you want it to lower it, maximum, or 5 decibels, or just off. I think that's just really neat. All right, you have ambient lighting here, and then so if I click, here's automatic. I can change it to manual, and you can change it to all sorts of different colors, which is way cool. And then if you click on this, you can select an area and change the brightness or dimness of it. So the brightness and dimness, that allows you to control the front separately from the side. So you have the doors brighter and the front dimmer, but the colors all stay the same. So that was manual. If I turn it to automatic, the lighting is going to depend on your driving mode, which is pretty cool. So anyways, really cool things. All right, so just tons and tons of settings in there. Go back to menu. All right, that was under vehicle. Sound we've already seen. So here's equalizer, the position, and of course volume for different things. We saw that earlier, but that's just a button right to it. If I swipe one to the left, I can do my climate control, but honest, you know, you have every button physical right in the center console. Okay, I'm gonna hit this, swipe over again. Now, this is where you can set up CarNet, legal notices, help, but if I go to settings, all right, system settings, so screen, okay, I can turn it off in 10 seconds, assuming that you don't want to see it, like, and then if you touch it, it'll come back on. You can set the brightness here to very high or very low. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but it does change. Touch screen tone on, menu button tone on or off. If it shows the check mark, it's on. If it doesn't show it, it's off. Okay, and then I can go down here. Animation when finger near screen. Remember when I took my hand away, the screen kind of, part of it disappeared to give me more room. When I brought my hand closer, it went up. Well, that's animation when finger near screen. So if I take that off, it's not going to do that anymore. And there we go. Now, you can set the time and date right here. You can change the language, units of operation. So if you want to change like to kilometers per hour, you can go down here and just change it to kilometers per hour. Now that's your distance. It allows you to set distance and speed separately, but you can set those back there if you want. Now I'm going to put them both back to miles per hour, but you can change all the units right here. And then you can look at voice operation. Okay, you can example commands, display an infotainment system. This could be helpful when you're first starting. Voice operation, start and end tone to let you know that it's done talking. And a dialogue session, start and end tone. You can have an activation word. Okay, and that way you could say, hey VW, and it's going to turn on the voice command so you don't even have to press the button. All right. So you can also manage mobile devices right here. So you can, like right now mine's set to phone, but if I want Apple CarPlay, I just click there. So you can just change how you're connecting. All right. I'm gonna go back to menu for a minute here. Go back here, go to settings. All right. You can do restore factory settings. If you completely mess up, or down the road you buy the car used, it's a good place to go into just to reset everything. System information right here, you can get the basic stuff, but you can also update software right there. So if you look at, it'll come down and tell you if there's a system update, voice operation, radio, or other. Okay. You can look at copyright information you want. You can look at a configuration wizard. So here, I'm not going to go through this, but this is where, if you're your car, this would be a good thing to go through. It'll set up all your media stuff. So you can, I won't, like I said, I'm not going to set that all up, but that's where you would do that. Neat thing. And then you can do the VW CarNet registration, which you would need to do if you want to keep like your 4G Wi-Fi hotspot. Okay, that's all kind of tied in together. All right, I'm going to go back to menu. And there we are. That's it for the infotainment system. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.